Right, so today we're going to have a chat with Anna Pucar Rimhagen. I'm pronouncing it correctly, right?
That's right.
Yeah. And Anna is the vice chair of an organization called the Swedish Classic.
Mm-hmm.
Anna, just tell us a little bit about what that is. What's the Swedish Classic?
So the Swedish Classic is working for the health of Sweden and the Swedes. That's the intent of why we have it there. And it's owned by 5 races, or we call them motionslopp. So it's not a competition, it's more like a challenge for people. So it's 2 skiing, cross-country skiing lops, 1 cycling, 1 swimming, and 1 running. And they're all quite long distance. So it's a big challenge. It's not something that you could automatically just do, but you have to fight for it to make it.
And what are the specific events? I mean,
the biggest one is Vasaloppet.
Right, that's the one I saw.
That's the one you saw on Sunday.
Yeah.
So there are a few different races over the week, but the main race hosts 16,000 participants, the one we saw.
Wow.
And it's a race that has been going on for almost 100 years. And it's from Sälen to Mora. It's a distance of 90 kilometers.
On skis.
On skis.
Astonishing.
It is. So people set up really, really early in the morning and go for the whole day. Most of them, the fastest one can do it in about 4 hours.
Right.
But most people will take like 9, 10, 12
That's
hours.
amazing. Yeah. And the Veteran, that's like a 300-kilometer race, eh?
It is, yes. And that's cycling around
and that's
the lake.
also in a day.
Or in like 1 day and 1 night for most people.
Right.
It would take. So the fastest ones can again go like 7. That would be really quick, but 8, 9, 10 hours, and many people would go for 20. So it's a whole range of participants.
Right. And the swimming, what does that entail?
The swimming, that would be the shortest one in comparison. It's 3 kilometers. So it would take most people 1.5, 2 hours maybe. But
that's in open water.
It is open water, so my parents, for example, they find that one to be the most difficult one because people might find it scary with the dark open water and the stream and hard work if you're not a good swimmer. And it's very cold, yes. 1 year I did it; it was only 11 degrees in the water.
Wow. And then the marathon?
It's not a marathon actually. It's a cross-country 30-kilometer distance.
Okay. Right.
But then there are also varieties of these. You could do like half a classic, and then it would be half the distances. Right. And there is one that is called short. You could discuss if it's short or not, but that's then 1/3 of the distance. And there is one specific for women, because we have found even though women do all distances, it's still like a liberation for many women to do it on their own. We talk a lot about, you and I, this about collaboration over competition. And even though Swedes are not that competitive, maybe comparatively, you'd find that women are even less so, or some at least, and they prefer that own race, set of races then.
I mean, that's really the reason why I like to do this podcast on this thing, because what's very apparent is that there's this incredible emphasis on collaboration in Swedish sport, which in my experience, that's not the case. Elsewhere, I mean, certainly in South Africa, that's not how we view sport. I mean, it's, if you can do the other person in to get there, then you do that. But that's a completely different. So
it is different.
Tell us a little bit more about this. How you pronounce it, mothung? Eh?
Mothung.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what exactly does that mean?
So mothung is sports without the competition. It's spelled like motion in English, and the whole idea is to move for health reasons and enjoyment, and also as a social activity.
Amazing.
So we say that everyone is a winner, so my father always said that. So I'm brought up with that. Everyone who reaches the finish line is a winner, and it's not about being first; it's about doing the thing.
Right.
And so therefore you find many cases where people will stop to help each other. And, if someone has a flat tire in Vätternrundan, if it's the faster groups, you might find that people don't stop. But in the slower ones, definitely people will stop and help each other out.
And in Vasaloppen, would you have similar behavior?
Oh, definitely.
Each other?
I know my mum told me one year she was doing Vasaloppet that she was stopping it. So there are like, we call them controls. It's like stops to get food and drink. And at one there, I think it was like halfway. So it was maybe 45 kilometers to go. There was this woman who was standing there and looking really, sad. And my mum said, what's the matter? And this woman said, I can't do it. It's too much. And I'm so sad because this was the last thing in my Swedish classic. And it ended up my mum saying, put on your skis, we'll do it together. I'm not in a hurry. I make sure
That's
you get to the
amazing.
finish line. So I'm sure you'd have thousands of such examples. So it's a big thing also to help someone else complete the race.
Oh wow. And even so, I forget the names of the two. When we watched the finish of the Vasaloppet, the two Norwegians.
Yes, there were two Norwegians.
But it was a similar thing because it looked as if right until the last 100 meters they were actually collaborating. They were allowing each other to go first, and then at one point they were neck and neck. And then, literally out of 90 kilometers, it was the last 100 meters that they looked like they were competing. Is that correct, or did I?
Well, obviously both of them want to win.
Yeah.
It's a big honor to win the Vasaloppet. But also, so they were. So in this year, it was the two of them that got ahead of a group of three.
Right.
So that group of three were then chasing them, if you will. So they were collaborating. If they wouldn't have collaborated, the other three would have come and eaten them.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So it's true. So, they were both competing and collaborating. But you find that in Vasaloppet, that along this 90-kilometer route, you will have people taking turns in being the first, because it's harder to be the first, especially when it's a lot of snow like this year.
Right.
And so they would collaborate along the way. And it doesn't look good if someone is not doing their part and then sort of come up and win at the end.
Okay.
That'd
sort of be frowned on.
That's not good manners.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how much do you think this way of looking at sport actually describes? It's a bit of a leading question, really, but how much does it actually capture the sort of the Swedish national character?
I think it's very typical, actually. I do think so. Yeah. It's so there is now a German classic in the same manner. I don't know if it has the same spirit to it, but I don't think it's a coincidence that we have it here.
Okay.
I think this the collaboration for the social good or for the group is quite dominant here. Maybe even more so, like earlier, that we can see a bit of a difference now, but still quite a bit. So, for example, at workplaces, you find that the agile teams, that way of working with strong teams is very predominant here.
Okay.
And that also, I don't think it's a coincidence. It works well for us. And you find the leadership in Sweden, if I'm generalizing, to be quite including. Okay. And that people collaborate to take decisions.
Right. I have noticed. It's possibly just because of the circle of people that you know and the people that we've been interacting with. But it's like every second Swede is an athlete. and that has to say something for being collaborative, because it's inclusive, and then it encourages more people to be part of it. Whereas by definition, if you're competing the whole time, it's exclusive, because only one person can be the winner. And then,
I think that does make a difference. It might have something to do with the group of people I hang out with, but I do think in general, there's a large percentage of the Swedish people do sport, or motion rather.
Right. And a lot of people actually do the Swedish classic.
Yes. Yes, it's literally thousands. It's about just under 10,000 per year that complete like the whole thing.
The whole thing. So, and that's not just one sport.
No, that would be the different one. So it's nice in the way that you get to sort of work seasonally with different sports. So in winter you prepare for the skiing race, and at the end of the winter you have the race like we did now. And then people will switch to the bicycle, because now spring is coming and you can start cycling outdoors, and they will cycle until June. And then it's rather short, just a month before the swimming thing. And then it comes into autumn. It's nice to go running and jogging.
Well, Anna, that's been fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Really fascinating experience, and thank you for including me in this world.
Well, thank you for being here.